Hello, welcome to Blow TV. I'm sitting after Carlisle. I've just drawn 0-0 to Barrow AFC in the Cumbrian derby at a packed Brunton Park today. 7,500 people were at the game today, and that's going to be the talking point from me today. I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant game just to be at. Maybe the football wasn't the best, but the atmosphere, somebody brought a cardboard cutout of the Pope. I'm not sure why, but the two lads that did that, you're absolute heroes for doing so. It was brilliant. Every so often, because I was sitting in the Pioneer stand, I would look over at the White Road end and just see it had a scarf on and a jumper towards the end. It was brilliant stuff. You'll have to excuse my slightly off voice at the minute because I shouted a lot at that game. There was a lot more singing than there usually was, a lot more chanting, and it's kind of hurt my throat a little bit. But today, I enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed myself just being at the game, just speaking to people. It was just nice being at the game today. And we didn't lose, which is something I'm not too familiar with recently. Going to a match and not losing, I thought we had the best chance in Rod McDonald rattling off the crossbar. Obviously that chance with Brad Young that I thought the referee had pointed to a penalty for. He'd pointed to a goal kick. There's a few instances where we probably should have had a penalty, but it is what it is. But we showed a lot more shape today. We had one or two shaky moments in the first half, but other than that, our defence was absolutely solid today. And it's that problem of our attack still, I think. And maybe if you start Sam Fishburne, I think he does a lot more than what he did today, because he comes on for 15 minutes at the end, and you think he hasn't got the time to do that. He's not that type of super sub player. And he did exactly the same as what he did against Horsham, where he started two strikers in that 4-4-2 role and swapped them both right at the very end. This time, Tristan Abrahams and Brad Young started, and they were both subbed off at the exact same time, with Fishburne and Alessandra coming on. Young, I think, played all right. Aston Villa fans listening, he was fine. I think he deserved the start after his his decent performances as of recent. But I was disappointed not to see Devine starting, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I watched the game against Morecambe, against a very strong Morecambe side, might I say, with Stockton starting their star striker, ex-Carlisle man himself. But that game we played really well. Jordan Gibson played really well, who I thought was a bit off today. Jordan Gibson, I think he didn't play as well as he did against Morecambe. But look, it's better, alright? It's not great, but it's better than what it was. And I think if we can keep building on this, I've looked at the fixtures over Christmas, and pretty much all our games over Christmas are against teams in the bottom half. We've got Scunthorpe again, we've got Salford, Mansfield, them sort of teams that are drifting towards the bottom. And I think if we can build a little bit of momentum up, just get a win, right? That's what we need. We need a win and then build on that over that Christmas period, because if you come into some good form just before the Christmas period, like we did last year, it can boost you right up the table. And we've got a brilliant run of fixtures, all against teams in the bottom half that are, I don't want to say winnable, because we don't win the winnable games, but they were games that you can see us. They're the games that we're gonna try and get points from. But yeah, it's a bit more optimism. I've waited till the other matches are finished to record this video, so I've got a more understanding of where we are in the league, and we're just above the relegation zone. We're a point above it. Salford drew 1-1 with Scunthorpe, and Oldham got beat by Exeter. So we're out of the relegation zone, so that's another positive. We had over 60% possession, another positive to add into that. It's just that attacking going forward. But today for me, it was about the crowd. It was amazing. It's I haven't seen Brunton Park like that in a while. Shout out to Eddie and Sasha who came over and spoke to me after the game. But yeah, it was just a good game. It was just not a good game, a good atmosphere and a good stadium to be at. Barrow fans brought 1,500 up. They were fine. But yeah, it was just nice to be at a game. The stadium felt different, alright, because recently games have felt awful. You get that boo at half time and at the end of the games where you're bottom of the league or something like that. You're getting beat 3-0. It wasn't like that today. There was a lot more people there, obviously, for the spectacle of a Cumbrian derby. And it felt more like the good times. And yeah, that's my takeaway from today. So I'm going to leave it at that in a bit.